Hello everyone and welcome back to KitbashCarnage. So today we're going to take a look at a diorama that I was doing a long time ago on basically some Ramshackle Games goblins that I ended up getting, along with some other bits. But something I find quite interesting with the way Curtis from Ramshackle Games uses his casts and does his molds and stuff is he tends to create the actual gaps to stop air bubbles and stuff like that, and the base that the models land on and the bits are built upon in the casting process, he turns them into usable parts or bits or terrain that you can incorporate into other things, so there's no wastage that goes into the bin, which is something that I really like. I like to use stuff that people would tend to throw away or waste product and make it come to life or create something from it. So this is part 2 of the first video. So here you can basically see we based the whole model or the diorama in black, and then we've gone ahead and started to dry brush the skull and the facing of the diorama itself just with a little bit of white. I basically opened my wet palette here and these colours were here from the last time I painted and decided that they will do. We'll add a bit of green to it and we'll just go with these. So once again, not trying to waste any materials, so just using what little dry brush, the white there that we had, and then we're going to go over, apologies for the terrible camera angles, and then we're going to go over with some green to make the goblins themselves pop. I love these little figures that Curtis does there, or produces. I'm not 100% sure, correct me if I'm wrong, I do apologise, but I'm not quite sure if these are his own casts, like his own creations himself, or if they're ones from people he know and he just supplies them. I'm not 100% sure, but make sure you take a look at their website at Ramshackle Games. A lot of interesting stuff there for kit bashing and creating unique armies and playing unique tabletop games. I think this little guy on the throne of toilet paper rolls is quite cool. A lot of character in him. He's just very postured up on his little throne of sewer toilet paper. And for anyone who hasn't checked out the part 1 of this video, I'd leave the link in the description if I remember to put it in. But basically, I think I said in the part 1 is the whole concept of this diorama is it's a small piece of a goblin lair or a goblin world, and they've been taken and trapped in this like ceramic box or this plastic box or dome or whatever you may call it, and they're actually trying to escape. So they've created with the materials left from there when they were plucked and put into this box. They've created a chainsaw here and they're trying to cut their way out of the box itself, out of the diorama, and basically escape and come up with some mischievous stuff that they can do, you know. But yeah, it's like a trapped goldfish that doesn't want to be in the bowl anymore. So as you see, we're just using our dry brush palette there, which is basically just made of a piece of cardboard, some electrical tape wrapped around the edges from cutting it into a circle, and I stuck some matchstick sticks basically there without the heads on them. You can get these in hobby shops and whatnot. Just for a bit of surface area or texture, you can stick anything onto this. By all means, stick PVC glue onto it, put a bit of gravel on it and let it dry, and that's your textured dry palette. You know, these things, although you can buy really good ones, I go through, this is KitbashCarnage, I go through these things like anything, no man's business. I'll probably end up dropping this one on the floor in about a week's time and standing on it and breaking it or something. So yeah, all the things that I do in this channel always has, it's my own unique take on anything that I'm doing. And there's always going to be a bit of carnage to go along with anything I'm doing, whether it be the painting, the building, or even the speaking and the editing. Thank you once again for everyone who has been subscribing over the past while. I really appreciate everybody. And I'd like to announce, I have announced, but probably not as well as I should have, but I will be, when reaching 500 subscribers, starting to do like a store. Now this will only be basically if anybody wants to purchase anything that I've made or would like me to do a commission of any sort. By all means, I'm not the best at anything. I am a little bit of good of a bit of things here and there. I have a very creative mind, which tends to push me the extra mile when it comes to my lack of painting skills and stuff. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. Once we reach 500 subscribers, I will be starting like commissions and a store and whatnot. If anybody wants to purchase anything I've done or give me any ideas for any commissions that they would like in the near future. So after filling in the green in the goblins, just painting their skin, we're going over little bits of like rivets, metals, like bits that we want to pop out. As you've seen, we just painted the ladder there in a wash of the dry brush that we went over with it's basically the same color we painted the skull and all that stuff. We're using the same colors in this wet palette, just to our best of our ability. So like I said, we're going over rivets, anything that is we want to stand out, that is like a rusted steel, and then we'll go over again in a different color in it's like silver, and we're just building layers upon layers to get the look that we have in our mind's eye basically. So like I said, just using the colours we have left in the wet palette. No need to be opening new paints and adding here and there. If you really had a specific paint scheme for this little diorama or any diorama you're doing, then obviously use the colours that you specifically want. But these 4 or 5 colours that I can see in my wet palette, I had in my head that I could do something with this. And the finished outcome turned out, in my eyes, not too bad. There's still a bit more that we're going to do, so like I said, this is only part 2 of 3. We still have the final part to do, and that would be adding finer details just to make everything pop, and a little bit of a KitbashCarnage kind of surprise in there. We always have to add our little unique touch to all these things. So grabbing a dry brush, which is actually one of my partner's makeup brushes, don't tell, we're going to dry brush over this again, and then we're going to get what's left of our silver out. Apologies for the name, it's, you know, what was it, Citadel Silver? Something, I don't know what it's called, but I should have just held the bottle firmly up to the camera and shown you. Apologies for that. But just grabbing the silver and just going over some more metal parts, making it stand out, painting that blade there off the saw just to make it pop more. Like I said, giving these little details and characteristics to individual parts, although subtle, may make the difference between it standing out that much more. So as you see, I like to work in steps, so I will paint, like do all my dry brushing, then do all my green color, and then do all that color, and then so I don't like to intermix and keep on going back and forth between the painting process. This way I find that the dry time is shortened, because if I paint all the green at once, by the time I get back around to where I need to paint on the green after doing other colours, the green is then dry. So whereas if you're painting green, going to a different colour, then going back to green somewhere else, and then going back, then when you come down to having to put them finer details, you have to wait till some of the green on some of the other figures or on the other parts of the model or diorama that you're doing is dry. And so I like to do all in one step, paint everything in one colour, everything of the colour that you have on your paintbrush on the miniature all at once, and then change to a different colour and do that again. I really need to learn how to speak properly. Also, let me know how you liked this camera angle near the end, because it's actually, my phone is stuck to a giant light magnifying glass. So this is it looking through a magnifying glass. So let me know if this is a nice camera angle for doing close-up paints and kit bashes. So this is what we have in the end. After going over some finer details, we put a bit of red here and there to stand out as some blood and gore. And then this is the case on top. So what we've done with the case is just dremeled a few bits where the saw is and where the grenade launcher is on the side. And the outcome of this whole figure or diorama, I thought looked quite well. I'm very pleased with myself. I hope you guys liked it so far. Like I said, this is only part 2. We have another part 3. Like, subscribe and comment. And don't forget to check out Ramshackle Games.